So coming from Reuters, U.S. Space Force awards SpaceX $2.29 billion contract for military space data networks. Oh lordy, this SpaceX IPO, it is getting more interesting by the day. So I've been talking about the SpaceX IPO for a little while now and how the main question should be whether or not SpaceX should IPO. That is the question, right? The whole idea of it being valued at somewhere between 1.7 to $2 trillion. I do not even understand how that's part of the discussion. That is absolutely insane. As I've talked about, Alibaba was the largest IPO in U.S. history. There was Saudi Aramco, but they IPO'd off in like the Saudi stock exchange or whatever else. So in U.S. history for an IPO was Alibaba at $169 billion. So literally Elon Musk wants 10, at the low end of his valuation, he wants 10 times the largest U.S. IPO in history, and that's at the low end. And one of the things I've been talking about for a little while now is that I am getting very concerned about this because SpaceX and a lot of things that Elon Musk does has become integral to modern society, right? One of my big arguments for so many of the big tech CEOs and big tech founders is that many of these people are not visionaries. They're not particularly smart. They're not really leading us into the future. They simply figured out how to monopolize a cornerstone component of modern civilization, and now they're basically simply charging rent for it. I mean, you look at the disaster of Meta or Facebook, right? Facebook might have been, interesting and inventive 20 years ago at this point in time. But at this point, Mark Zuckerberg is just throwing money at stuff, and who the hell knows what is actually going to happen. The interesting thing when you start looking at Elon Musk is that becomes an even worse problem, right? If Meta imploded tomorrow, to be clear, there'd be a lot of issues, right? WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, a lot of people make money off of that. A lot of people do communications off of that. A lot of businesses run their websites off of it for whatever reason. And so if Meta imploded, it would be an issue. But the problem is, when you start looking at SpaceX, is those issues are just multiplied exponentially, right? Something like 90% of all space launches in the United States right now are being done by SpaceX, right? Think about that. SpaceX is American launch capability. That's about it, right? You look at Starlink, they've got about 10 million subscribers, right? And a lot of those people are out in rural areas. If Starlink went away, a lot of them would not be able to get internet access. Starlink is being used for the military. So there's Starlink, which is the civilian component of the ISP. And then there's something called Star Shield, which is the government component of the ISP. And so what you start seeing is basically Elon Musk has created a company that is providing a number of services that are becoming ever more vital to the U.S. civilization. And basically, he's gambling that he can keep all of this running and come out with an evaluation that is just batshit crazy. And the problem we run into with this is if this is just Elon Musk, whether Elon Musk is a trillionaire or whether Elon Musk goes bankrupt, there's whatever, that is what it is, and that's drama. The bigger concern is what happens if SpaceX goes bankrupt. Like we talk about Yahoo, right? I remember when Yahoo was Yahoo. I remember the first time somebody told me about Google. Elon, have you tried Google? And I said, I'm a Lycos man. Remember Lycos? There's a little black dog, right? Anyways, back then, Yahoo was the company. And then about 10 years ago, it basically got sold for fire sale prices, right? But here's the thing. Again, kind of like with Facebook. Yahoo goes away. What does society lose for Yahoo? What does society lose for AOL? What does society lose for BlackBerry? Not a lot. What happens if the company that provides 90% of American space launch capability literally goes bankrupt? It's one of the fascinating things. I still need to finish this book. I got halfway through. Look, I got halfway through. It's a big book. Again, but what's fascinating, Karl Marx, Capital. Read more of it than I did. But one of the fascinating things he talks about in here on the capitalist system, that economic crises are actually far more destructive than things like war and natural disasters. And the reason is because when you have a war or when you have a natural disaster, there is a known demand, right? So you are creating a certain amount of widgets, right? You have a biblical flood, you're in Asheville, biblical flood comes through, your factory gets wiped out, and but you already know how many widgets you were selling. So you can go to investors. You can go to investors and say, look, this is how many widgets we were selling before. This is the profit. Here's all the numbers. We need money to rebuild the factory, and then this is the dividends or what you get from it, right? That makes a lot of sense, and basically people will be willing to invest into that. The problem you have with economic crises is that it wipes out the value of the factories. So let's say you have one factory that's doing very well selling widgets. And you see, there's another person that sees how much money you're making off of selling widgets, so they become a competitor to you. Well, right, that's supposed to be good, right? Capitalist system, that's good. There's competition. You increase the quality of widgets, decrease the price, whatever else. Well, what happens if somebody else creates widgets? Another person creates widgets, another person creates widgets, another person creates widgets, another person creates widgets. All of a sudden, there's so many people producing the widgets, and they're basically going after a market that's not getting bigger, an inelastic market. And so basically they're dumping more and more of these widgets. The profit is sinking more and more to the point that it literally becomes more expensive to produce the widgets than they can be sold for. Well, the issue is all of a sudden companies start going bankrupt. And what you can have is basically you can have that industrial capacity end up being wiped out because they can't make enough money to continue to be financially viable. But here's the issue. So that market gets wiped out. Then if you have somebody's like, hey, look, the widget market got wiped out. I want to build a widget factory. The problem is all the financials for it, right? All the records, the reports are going to show that it was a crap business. You want to create a factory when all of the other factories went out of business because they were losing money. They could not produce widgets and be able to actually make a profit off of it. Why would investors want to invest any money in there? Right, and so that's one of the things he talks about in there, where economic shocks can actually be far more devastating to the economic system than major normal crises. So, anyways, one of the things to be thinking about with this is, again, if SpaceX burns in, their valuation tanks, all of a sudden they become questionably viable. There's a big question there about what backfills that. Right, Blue Origin. I mean, God bless Blue Origin. You know, Jeff Bezos, he's trying. He's giving it the college try. But he's not going to replace 90% of launch capacity anytime soon. Right? Europe? Come on now. I know, it's a joke. It's a rhetorical joke. You don't have to answer that. Probably China. Probably China will do it at the end of the day. And so that's an interesting question. It's like, what happens if SpaceX IPO fails, starts tanking the entire company, and then these resources we really do rely on, they start becoming questionable. So anyways, that's why this is interesting. I talked about this before with Elon Musk and SpaceX. They just jacked up the rate that the military was spending for certain the satellite things. So basically they were spending $5,000 for Starlink terminals, and then Elon Musk and them decided they could be making more money if they charge the government more money. They'd be like, hey, you know how we could make more money from the government? What if we just start charging them 5 times more than we have been charging them? Because that's what you can do. That's what you can do when you're best buddies of Trump. So anyways, this is coming out. All right. Space Force awards SpaceX $2.29 billion contract. The U.S. Space Force has awarded SpaceX a $2.29 billion contract to build a secure, high-speed satellite communications network to connect military sensors and weapons platforms across the globe, the service announced on Tuesday. So think about this SpaceX IPO coming down the pike. Imagine when SpaceX owns the communication systems for military sensors and weapons platforms across the globe. Does that make you feel comfortable? The fixed price, non-traditional contracting agreement covers a space data network, SDN backbone, a resilient network architecture, providing high capacity and low latency data transport for the military. Space Force said the vendor must deliver a fully operational prototype capable by the end of 2027. Among other roles, the SDN will provide the communications pathways for integrating and moving data from missile warning and tracking sensors to interceptors in near real time. So this is part of that whole Golden Dome thing. But think about that. Elon Musk is going to be in control of the system that's going to be responsible for things like missile warnings and tracking sensors. Quote, the SDN backbone leverages the best of commercial innovation and delivers a strong foundation for the SDN mission set, a huge benefit and enabler of our warfighters, says Space Force Colonel Ryan Frazier, the acting portfolio acquisition executive overseeing the program. So, yeah, SpaceX is getting ever more in bed with the US government and the military about the time that they're going to IPO for a ridiculous amount. So anyways, I don't know what to say. What do you say anymore? So what do you think about this? What do you think about their IPO? What do you think about them getting involved ever more with our military? What do you think about our military communications infrastructure? Right? The CEO of the company, right? The CEO with super majority voting rights. No ability to outvote him in the company. And that jackass is being given this much responsibility. For your thoughts, down below. If you like these videos and you want them on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, there's a link in the doobly-doo. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. And with that, see y'all later.